The Mayflower.
History isn't some tidy tale tied up with moral platitudes and a bow. It's messy, reckless, and full of people who'd rather roll the dice on an uncharted frontier than kneel to a king who thinks God slides into his DMs. Enter the Mayflower, a weather-beaten tub hauling a cross-section of religious misfits and calculated opportunists across the Atlantic in 1620. This wasn't just a voyage, it was an existential middle finger to the powers that be. The separatists on board, tired of the state dictating how to pray, essentially said, "Screw it, let's start from scratch." And start they did. But liberty, once romanticized, started to look a lot like frostbite, scurvy, and land disputes with neighbors who hadn't signed up for any of this. These weren't wide-eyed pilgrims with buckled hats and innocent dreams. They were religious exiles who had already fled to Holland, only to find it a little too free-spirited for their taste. So they made a bold move. Build a new theocracy from the ground up where they could breathe freely and judge others in peace. Were they trading one form of repression for another? Absolutely. But hey, baby steps. Freedom in practice often just means rewriting the rules in your own favor and praying the ink dries before winter sets in. They landed off course near Cape Cod, miles from where their charter said they should be. No king, no plan, no legal framework. So what did they do? They improvised. The Mayflower Compact was born, an agreement to cooperate, share resources, and try not to kill each other. It wasn't elegant, but it was radical. A crude seed of grassroots democracy, a rough draft of consent-based governance. Then comes that infamous harvest feast. Pilgrims and Wampanoags supposedly gathered around the proto-Thanksgiving table, turkey and maize in hand. But the truth? It was diplomacy, not kumbaya. The Wampanoags had enemies of their own. The Pilgrims were less new friends and more temporary assets. That uneasy peace didn't last. Colonial expansion brought disease, land theft, and the smug, cultural superiority that tends to torch alliances. Gratitude gave way to grief. Trust eroded. The continent tilted. And that's what makes the Mayflower saga such a twisted masterpiece. It's both a tribute to human resilience and a prelude to cultural erasure. The settlers weren't saints. They were flawed, desperate, often short-sighted, and they launched a wave that would change everything, often violently. Progress, it turns out, isn't a slow, noble march toward justice. It's a stumbling drunk lurching between opportunity and exploitation. Was the Mayflower Compact a perfect political model? Not even close. But it was a start, a scrappy attempt to govern from the ground up rather than from a throne. It hinted at a future where power might flow from the people, not the crown. But that's not the whole story. It's easy to toast the Pilgrims for their guts, harder to reckon with the collateral damage. Every step toward self-rule came with a shadow. Alliances broken, lives erased, landscapes transformed. The Pilgrims didn't chase a utopia, they chased survival, and in doing so, they lit the fuse on centuries of transformation, some liberating, some devastating, all very, very human. The Mayflower story is no bedtime fable. It's a high-wire act of ideals, ambition, and consequence. A dream crashing headfirst into the hard edges of nature, politics, and human limitation. So raise your glass to liberty, compromise, ambition, and the messy collision of dreams and reality. And while you're at it, don't forget the Wampanoags and everyone else who paid the price for someone else's freedom.
You've just endured a thrilling snippet of the RPTM podcast. We sincerely hope our comedic genius left you in stitches, and of course, we're crossing our fingers that we've also brought a tear or two to your eye. And hold on to your hats, because if your brain cells are still intact after this roller coaster, consider gracing us with a sacred thumbs up. If that's not enough, give that subscribe button a whack. We wouldn't want you to miss out on the riveting sagas we've lined up.